From working at this agency, I found out that so many small businesses were being ripped off, and this person I was working for wasn't respecting her clients, and I just felt horrible working there, and I just didn't enjoy seeing that happening. So I said, you know what, I'm going to start my own agency. And that's when I met my business coach, Deborah Chantry, who has, supported me through from the beginning. She's amazing. And she guided me through the process of refining from digital marketing to social media marketing to social media coaching.
Okay.
Because in New Zealand, we are a nation of DIY people. People want to know how to do things themselves, and that includes small business owners.
So hello everyone, we got a nice change here. We've got Chelsey Ritson of social media coaching.co.nz. It'll be in the description. But it's really what this episode is about, is just about helping either a business owner or people that have a side hustle that have explored social media a little bit, but they don't really quite know where to start or how to do it. But first thing, before we kick into any of that, we kind of have to know, why should we listen to Chelsey? But so what's your story? How come you're a social media coach, and how did you end up like this?
Well, my story actually begins in Mexico, of all places.
Arriba.
Yeah. I went there on an exchange a few years ago. I fell in love with a Mexican. I decided to stay for 2 more years after that.
Okay, cool.
And while there, I was, I guess you could say, I was illegally living in Mexico.
That's a good switch.
Yeah. So I didn't have a work visa or anything, so I had to find a way to make money online. So what I did is I started a branch of my sister's company, and she has a nanny agency, and I started the au pair section from scratch. So that's everything from building the website, from building up the social media, and essentially just getting the name out there and getting people on board. And from that, I learned so many different aspects of digital marketing. I also learned that I didn't want to run an au pair agency. So pretty soon, like 6 months later, we shut it down. I was like, that's fine. I'll just let that go. And I just kept starting e-commerce stores online and just learning more and more about digital marketing, and found out that I enjoy it. I like learning about it, and I'm actually good at it. So I became the digital marketing manager for my sister's company, which is based in the UK, but it operates worldwide. And then when I got back to New Zealand, eventually, obviously, as romances do, it fizzled out. So, and I miss New Zealand because I love New Zealand so much. So I came back and did a digital marketing internship, and this filled in all the blanks and all the gaps that I had missed when I self-taught everything. And I discovered there was a real need to help small business owners. From working at this agency, I found out that so many small businesses were being ripped off, and this person I was working for wasn't respecting her clients, and I just felt like horrible working there, and I just didn't enjoy seeing that happening. So I said, you know what, I'm going to start my own agency. And that's when I met my business coach, Deborah Chantry, who has, supported me through from the beginning. She's amazing. And she guided me through the process of refining from digital marketing to social media marketing to social media coaching. Okay. Because in New Zealand, we are a nation of DIY people. People want to know how to do things themselves, and that includes small business owners. And so that's what I do. That's why I work with small businesses, and that's my background.
Okay, well, that sounded all shiny and everything was positive, but let's hear about the mistakes you made when you first started, which also gives you a good understanding to help people when they go through it. So you're helping your sister with this nanny business that you're not that fond of as things progress. What did you try and then it didn't quite work out, or what did you learn from it?
I learned that without having a passion for what I was doing, because it was my sister's passion that I was following, and it was a great opportunity, but without that extra bit of passion, my motivation just kept dropping and dropping and dropping. Okay. And I found out that I didn't really care at the end of it. I wasn't, thinking about how can I make this succeed. I was like just thinking, how can I make money? Because that's all I was thinking about. It wasn't about the actual project itself. Yeah,
that's fair. This is a huge thing. I mean, majority of business owners go on there to make money, and that's why I suspect that there's such a high turnover and why people don't make it, because you're not going to make good money for a while, or maybe you start off strong and then you have tough times. So there'll probably be a lot of people listening and watching on the video as well that don't know their passion and are confused, was there certain like red flags that you saw to differentiate between what seemed like a passion and what just seemed like you're chasing money? Do you have like a system for working it out, or you more just go with the flow?
I think that it really shows when you're not making money and when you don't have anybody actively paying you. How do you feel in that moment? Do you feel like it's pointless, or did you actually start it for a reason? And if you've started a company for a reason that comes from some level of passion, then you're going to have that drive to continue even when you're not making any money from it.
That makes sense. Like, I think it was Man's Search for Meaning. It taught the guy here. Have you heard that book, Man's Search for Meaning?
I haven't.
It's a psychiatrist that he was actually in a concentration camp. So worst things you could ever imagine. And he talks about that if a man has a why, he can suffer through almost any how. So it's sort of about having a reason to go through that, because you can't control it. People like to bubble wrap their kids and protect them from the bullies, but I think it should be really about giving you the resolve and understanding to not suffer by the interpretation of the event. So you can't help what happens, but you control how you react. So you obviously would have done this and probably feel a little defeated because you're like not passionate, frustrated, and then you've lost your hombre, your amigo, and so how did you start rebuilding yourself from that? From
when I came back to New Zealand, or?
Yeah, when you came back and things weren't quite what you hoped they would be.
Do you know what I did? And I am really glad to my dad for this. He has always been a fan of LinkedIn. I think he'd be one of the first people that were even on LinkedIn when it started.
Wow, good call.
Yeah. And I said to him, I want to go work at a digital marketing agency and I just don't know where to start. And honestly, from my life experience, applying for jobs through, big websites that have hundreds and hundreds of jobs, it's really, really exhausting. And I've never found it to be successful. I mean, I've gotten jobs through it, but it's not jobs I really wanted. You know what I mean?
Retail.
Yeah. Retail. Hospitality.
But if you do have retail and you love it, I'm all for that. I just don't love it.
Yes.
All right, sorry, Carol.
Yeah. I have friends who love retail, so yes, absolutely.
Shout out.
So basically he told me, go on LinkedIn and find the companies that you want to work for, find out who runs them, and then message them and ask if you can meet up for some advice. And this was amazing advice that was given to me because I connected with 3 digital marketing agencies, and they're all and in New Zealand, the businesses are so small, you can go straight to the top and ask for a coffee.
Yeah,
and
I'm finding that a lot these days.
Yeah, it's so good. So, I reached out, I met up for some coffees, and one of them was like, okay, so what's your next step? What do you want? I was like, well, I'd really love the opportunity to work at a digital marketing agency. And she said, okay.
Oh, so done.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I think it was just a matter of finding out what I wanted to do and going out and finding and getting it.
Yeah. I'm a big advocate for that. Like in sales, we talk about being better than the last. So there's a certain way that people approach selling. If you're different from them, then you're not competing with them. Like you'd rather compete with the great white in the desert than in the ocean. So it's like all these people putting in these CVs. I remember I door knocked at a place called Abracababra, shout out, best kebabs in Byron Bay. Oh, you actually know them?
I know them, yeah.
All right, it's an easy name to remember. And I turned up. So retail is a bit different. Like my version of LinkedIn is going to the actual place itself because they're desperate for people that are motivated and driven and think outside the box. So you tick all that in theory. You don't actually have to tick it, but you just turn up and they think that. So I door knocked on this Abracababra place, and the guys handed me CVs. I was like, "Oh, is the manager there?" Like, yeah. He came out. He's like, "Oh, hey, mate." And I was like, "Oh, just looking for work." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, cool. Have you got a CV?" I was like, "I do. And you're probably just going to put it on the bottom of the pile over there that I can see. But I'm good at what I do, and I'm ready to start now. So let's just skip the shit and get into it." And then I was helping people make decisions when they were drunk and buying kebabs. Awesome. God, drunk people at 3 a.m. trying to choose what flavour they want. It's tough. So that relates to this topic. Oh, no. But the main idea with that is really like, okay, these tough things happen, but it's the way you perceive it and the direction in which you approach it. So is there another instance in life where you sort of thought outside the box? Or is it quite often that someone else sort of opens up your eyes to it, like makes the invisible visible?
Oh, what a question.
Sprung.
Where I've had to think outside the box.
Yeah. Like right now.
Like right now.
Because I didn't tell her any of the questions or just a general theme what we're going to talk about, so you're demonstrating it now. But like maybe from a social media standpoint, so they were trying a messaging that was this way, but you thought outside the box to reach the audience that wasn't quite the norm.
I mean, okay, in terms of what I do with social media, that is essentially what I do with all of my clients.
Okay.
And a lot of the time people come to me because they have been bouncing from social media agency to social media agency and not getting any results. And so I've had to look at what they've been doing and then think, you know, it goes beyond just posting, and how can we use every aspect of social media to grow your audience or to get more engagement or to get more leads. And it involves thinking outside the box every time. Yeah.
Okay.
There's just been so many small things that have happened in life that's required me to think outside the box. And I think a lot of those stories come from, you know, travel and problem solving. And I think that when you are traveling, especially by yourself, you encounter a trillion situations every day that you have to problem solve and think, how am I going to get myself out of this or into this? Or so I don't know. I can't think of anything really specific right now, but I think that it just every day, it's all about making sure you think outside the box.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. You got to, I mean, we had a guest, Jeffrey Hughes. He was talking about the most successful companies he sees as an accountant as agile companies.
I've met him, yes.
Yeah, there you go. Small circles.
Yes.
He's a good networker. He does well. That's what I was saying in the last episode. So what's a common mistake then if you're helping these people and they want to sort of learn how to do it themselves? What's the common mistakes or issues that you see that they often do?
Not post consistently.
Oh.
That would be...
Wait, what's consistent firstly?
Consistent, it doesn't mean constant, and I think that's a good differentiation to make. Where consistently is if you are able to post once a week, that you are posting once a week. If you're able to post 3 times a week, that you're posting 3 times a week, and not that you log in every few weeks and post like 9 things at once. It's about consistency, and that I feel is lacking a lot with business owners who are doing it themselves.
It makes sense, yeah, because you're sort of training a habit. So like, let's say they're on Instagram, you want to teach them to keep coming to that place. So if they build a daily habit or weekly habit of seeing your podcast on Monday, and consistently turn up, then that starts building a habit over time, so then they become a consistent, engaged audience member. What would be another mistake they make apart from consistency?
There's selling, just only posting to sell. That would be one that, because people, especially on LinkedIn, a lot of people feel like LinkedIn should just be about business and about selling. And I find that when people go on and they're like, okay, I'll post once a week about my business, then people don't really care. And I think the biggest thing, and a really, really great lesson to learn in life, that everyone really, really cares just about themselves. And I'm not saying like...
No, it's me.
But when you're looking to connect with other people, you should always be thinking that they only care about themselves. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just, it is what it is. You know, it's the human way, I guess you could say. So how are you adding value for the other person opposed to why are you talking about yourself?
Yeah, they say in biology, like, there's no unselfish act. You know, there's some sort of genetic benefit from you helping a person, or there's some sort of emotional benefit you gain from it. So in that sense, and from an advertising standpoint or marketing, I like the sort of quote is information, not infomercial. So I don't know why people, their goal is just to, you know, just sell something, and their short little quick video. But why not be the TV program? Why do you have to be the ad?
Absolutely. And I find that in, you know, networking groups and other things that I attend is when the person who gets up and talks about something that is interesting to me, which honestly it's not them if I don't know them, right?
True.
It's maybe it's what they do and what they've learned, and though that kind of information it captures my attention, and it will end up making me think about the person that stood up to talk more because they've added some sort of value into my life.
For sure. And then also a big thing you talk about is authenticity, because a lot of people, when they do a speech, they practice, it's polished, they get nervous, they stifle the emotion, and then they just come across as a robot and people can't connect with them as a speaker. So do you find that as well in social media? That
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, even in videos, when people doing video content, because at the moment video content is huge. I mean, we're doing a podcast and it's being filmed because that video content is huge. And we haven't, pre-recorded this or any, obviously we pre-recorded it, but we didn't practice it or rehearse it or anything. You stumped me on a question a few minutes ago. And so I think that kind of authenticity comes across really, really strong. And when somebody practices a video over and over and over again before posting it, then that's lost. You're absolutely right. Yeah. And
I think I've said it quite a few times, but I think consumers are a lot more clued up with the bullshit radar, because you think like, okay, grandma, she's in her 80s, when she would meet people, there'd be a certain level of people she would meet. For the most part, she'd get positive reinforcement because you see a good part of them, you have a handshake, blah blah blah. But now it's social media where I meet 100 people a day,
Yeah.
And I'm seeing how they interact, how they think, their little mannerisms. And then I'm seeing, okay, last week they said this. Did they do that? Oh, so that means when they do this with their eyebrows and do that, that means they're actually not being authentic. Oh, okay, maybe there's a lack of trust there. So there was a flow with that. So this was very authentic, talking about authenticity. But I think, it does. It's like people already don't trust you, so you have to earn the right for them to listen to you. That's what rapport and selling is more about. It's not actually, hey, I'm just going through the motion of trying to get to know this person. It's actually earning the right for them to listen to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you find, okay, we've got this authentic content.
Yes.
It's information, not infomercial. What are there videos that look well, or is it copy that work well, or is there like a structure you use in terms of like retargeting, or what's the more tactical side of social media now you've got good content?
I think that using the right platforms in the right way. So, an example of that is a business would start up a company page on Facebook. That's the basic where people start, I think. And maybe most of your audience does sit on Facebook, but maybe they also go across to LinkedIn, and maybe they're also on Instagram. They could be, in different places online. And I think that the best thing you can do in the way that's using the content and the platforms is to form a strategy that makes all of them work in cohesion together. And so if you're putting out a video, for example, on Instagram TV, and on Instagram TV, you can post a link to your website there. And that your audience loves to watch Instagram TV videos. And so that's a little hack as well, because you can't post links on Instagram except on your profile, except on an Instagram TV video description.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay.
Yeah. And so if you've then set up a link to your website for your customers and they click it, then you've set up, for example, a Facebook pixel, which is sort of a tracking code on somebody's website where Facebook can see who's visiting your website, and someone clicks through from Instagram. You can then set up a retargeting campaign to those same people on Facebook. And this is how you can use the same, similar content across platforms in a more cohesive way. And I think that even it's the same if you post a link on LinkedIn and then you're retargeting them through Facebook. And I think that's a really awesome way to use all of the platforms in more of a cohesive way. But that, again, is why you should have a strategy, because without the strategy and you're just posting inconsistently, then what's the point?
True.
Yeah.
All right, that's interesting. Yeah, I always get a little confused. So I know the Facebook pixel and I know Google Analytics and a little bit. There's also a free course you could do, Facebook Blueprint. That's a shout out, worth checking out. But the Facebook Pixel, so obviously that could help with WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, that sort of thing, Messenger. How do people randomly end up on a website that I'm on, or or an app that I'm on? Is that still just using the information from the Pixel and then just going through whatever platform, or how are they seeing us? How's Big Brother finding me?
What do you mean?
So Tinder, even there's a guy, so I'm swiping through Tinder. I didn't want to say, I was just trying to lead to it. But I'm like, okay, I saw this guy's website, or I was on YouTube, and then that guy's there as well. So I just, went and looked
like
at
an
some
ad
lawyer.
on Tinder.
Yeah.
You're not looking at guys on
No,
Tinder.
not swiping through guys.
I mean,
It has a higher conversion rate, I suspect. So at times, if I fall on tough times. But yeah, so I went and looked up this lawyer, and I just wanted to see if we had crossover benefit in terms of our industries. And he ended up coming across on YouTube, on Tinder. I don't know if he wanted to be on Tinder, but I don't know why he was there. So why does that happen? Like, how do you just use the information from Pixel and then target through the platforms?
Well, I mean, that would be that's not through Facebook.
Okay.
So Facebook, you can retarget through their channels of Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
That would be what the Facebook Pixel's about.
All right.
And then those other ones would be a matter of other code installed on your website as well, which is a whole realm of digital marketing, which I can't say I'm an expert in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the most common Pixel used is Facebook. Is there anything else?
Yeah, because like most people are on Facebook, apart from, I think I'm going to say, 22 and under, they're dropping off Facebook. But
yeah, it's all the oldies.
Yeah,
Good
majority of the population though is still there, which I mean is important to acknowledge. And yes, you can just target Instagram and Facebook through Facebook Pixel.
So the Pixel really only helps you go through the channel that it relates to, obviously.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And the Pixel, there's a whole process to it, and I'm not techie like that, but I know that it works.
Okay.
Where if you went to my website, I could then advertise to you. That's what it is, simply put.
All right, I need to set up one of those. Do you have to put cookies? Is that classes? You know how when you come on the website it says cookies and maybe collecting cookies?
Yeah, and now
I got excited. Yeah.
Now Chrome and Safari and all those companies are setting up security measures so that it's going to be harder and harder to be tracked or to track people. So that's scary for me, who loves the use of a Pixel.
True.
Yeah. So hopefully that's not going to happen too soon.
All right, jump on it now, guys. All right, let's all collectively work it out. I've been awkwardly answering these questions and looking really dumb for you guys. I obviously know all the answers.
Of course.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But okay, I need to put a Facebook Pixel because TikTok is driving a lot of people to the website. In our business, we make a lot of get a lot of our clients through referrals. So that's our transactional side. So what I'm trying to build is brand, but I'm not necessarily capturing details through that. So people are going to the website, they're looking at it, they're listening to the podcast, they're reaching out and asking questions, but I don't want to be dependent on a platform because, as you say, something could suddenly change.
Yeah.
Is there? So that's the transactional side. You're creating content consistently. You've got a Pixel. You target them with an ad. Is there things you encourage for the long term? Because most businesses don't think like that. And if you had a free plethora of being able to do whatever you want, spend whatever you want, how would you structure building a brand?
I think that it also comes down to engagement. So you could be posting as much content as you wanted, but as long as if you're not engaging with your audience, then that also goes hand in hand with posting content. So I think that a long-term content strategy is great, and then it's also a long-term engagement strategy, and how are you going to start conversations, how are you going to really connect with people. And I don't know if you can think of any type of brands that I know that sometimes I've been on Facebook and the company will post something, and people will be asking questions and the brand will consistently reply to them. And some brands that use humor or GIFs in the comments are very memorable for me. And I think that that's because that they've managed to, tailor their brand voice so well that they come across as a fun company, or because that's how they want to come across.
True.
And so that kind of all goes hand in hand. And then long term, you just always just kind of staying on top of what you're doing, and don't just let things go, and don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Do it because you know why you're doing it, which I think is long term what some people are doing, and that's why some people end up paying agencies to just post content for them, and that's doing it for the sake of doing it. But if they're using it as part of their strategy, then that's effective.
Seems to be the word of the day, strategy. So I suspect when you sit down with a client, you pull together a strategy.
Yes.
So what's it like? Someone comes in to see Chelsey and they're like, oh, look, I understand it. I don't know quite how to do it. What's your process for the strategy?
Like, okay, what are you doing right now?
And we can do a role play if you want. I could pretend to be a business owner. We have tradies, a lot of tradies on there. Okay, do you want to do a practice?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, all right, sprung. I didn't tell I was going to do this, so once again, it's my fault if we stumble through it. So I am, let's say I'm in my 40s. I'm an established accountant. So I've got connections, but I'm tired out going out there all the time to try and meet people and try and drive business that way. And I know this Facebooky thing and a bit about Graham. I think my daughter uses it. But yeah, it's just not worth it. I don't get it. It doesn't work.
Yeah, okay. I've heard that a lot. You could be so many people that I've met.
All right. Yeah, I try to be a realistic one.
Yeah, great role play. Yeah, so we're doing the role play, right? Okay. Hi, nice to meet you.
We're going to go inauthentic. What are the processes or things you want to know first? Like, what do you need to know?
I would say, so what have you tried? And what have you tried? What's worked for you so far? What hasn't worked? What do you feel like you don't get? What would you really like to understand? Okay. And then I would say, who are you trying to target? Who are you actually trying to target? And what's the point in you being there?
All right, before you say another 10 questions, to answer your question.
Right, sorry, still
yeah, we're
that,
back to it.
Okay.
So what I've tried is I'm able to create engaging content. So people like it, hypothetically speaking, I'm still 40s. Yeah. People like it, but then I don't know how to convert it, like how to turn that into some financial gain. And at the time, what I was doing was just doing one ad. I didn't know this retargeting thing that you discussed just now. And my target demographic is business owners that just want advice outside of what they're currently doing, and it's more of a tailored premium service. And it's to make sure that they don't make mistakes. It's not just about doing the income and tax. It's really about looking at the big picture. So yeah, what do I do, Chelsey? What's the next step? I think those are all the questions.
Okay. Yeah. So your audience is business owners who want a more premium service.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I would look into the platforms that you're currently using, and so you've set up some Facebook ads.
Yeah, and Instagram.
Yeah. Okay. And how old would you say that your audience is?
Well, we had the odd tradies in their 20s, and then we also have like my friends because I added them all on Facebook.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about it.
Okay, so that's kind of who you have at the moment.
Yeah.
But who do you want to have? How old are they?
I would say similar to me. Someone same age, relatable. They just want to make sure as they're approaching retirement in their life that they don't make mistakes, do the right things, and just have someone there, those sort of people.
Yeah. And so you've posted on Instagram and Facebook so far, and you've said that you've created engaging posts.
Yep.
And what have those posts kind of been about?
Those posts have just been like adding value to business owners. So just talking about management accounts. I'm just quoting people from the other podcast. So talking about management accounts and the importance of that. Shout out Jeffrey Hughes and also Murray Phillips. And really just helping businesses think out sort of the scope, not just being solely in the business, working on it. So it's really just about a value add in terms of my understanding of accounting and being a business advisor.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you're not using LinkedIn at the moment?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I've got a couple people, but yeah, I don't understand it.
Yeah. And so ultimately you want to have just essentially more clients.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is that around like who would actually work with you? Because you could also have people that you want to work with, but are they also going to work with you, and
True.
why would they want to work with you? Which I think it's a really valuable question to ask, because I might not want to work with you just on the basis of us having a different values around our lives.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
They talk about so when I was training a sales team, we would consciously try and hire people that are different, with different mind maps, because it's exactly that. I mean, it's on a digital scale, but people appeal to different people. Challenges is trying to manage different people that think differently from you, but if you have a common goal and common vision. Okay, so we refined our target audience. That sort of client, what are the channels? What are the pipes that we should use? Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn?
Are they wanting you're wanting, they're wanting.
Yeah.
We still
we can change this soon. I'm not sure how well it's going, but we'll just try that last question.
So you're wanting people around your age, and in your hypothetical situation, you're in your 40s.
Yeah, and they actually like me. And I'm not just like projecting that it works, you know? Because that was one of the things you suggested is there's the audience that you want, but there's the actual audience that's responding. So let's assume they're aligned.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say that you need to get on LinkedIn.
Okay.
If that was, your business, then absolutely you're talking to business owners, and LinkedIn is incredible. It's an incredible place to network and connect with people. And it's a lot more open, I feel, than Facebook.
Okay.
And if you're already creating engaging content, then that's amazing. You should continue to be doing that on Instagram and Facebook. And then I would also look at how much of your engagement, like what you're doing with your engagement. So Instagram especially values engagement a lot, and that's interacting, liking other people's posts and commenting and using hashtags, and that all ties together with Instagram liking you being there. I like to think of the platforms as being quite, snobby, and you have to kind of get on their good side to...
okay. I quit just from that perspective. I don't want to hang out with snobby people. But all right, go.
Yes, you want to get on their good side, and you want them to like you and show your content to more people. And there are strategies to do that, and that is about engaging and posting regularly. And so if you've already got a good Facebook and Instagram thing going, then we would build on it. That's the first step, and also create a LinkedIn, and then going back to the strategy thing, see how we can create a strategy that ties all of those three things together.
Okay, fair. I'm similar to Gary Vee in the sense that I'm chasing free attention because I don't really have a marketing budget. Are there sort of strategies you give? He talks about the $1.80 strategy where you give your 2 cents 90 times a day. So on whatever platform, so on Instagram, it's people in your local area, you're sharing value to what they're doing, or the content that you have competency on. You're sharing ideas maybe on a LinkedIn post, and then everyone's seeing your comments, and that's a free way to do it. Is there some slick ways you use in terms of a cost-effective way? So we're talking about business owners. What about side hustle, passionate people that don't have a whole lot? What can they do?
A great way to grow. So you're talking about growing audience, or
growing audience and making a bit of money or like breaking even at least, so they can keep building.
I would say a huge one is video.
Okay.
Huge at the moment, and we mentioned it before. Video is really, really helpful and useful. And if you're feeling a bit hesitant about being on video, just imagine about all the other people who feel that way and are not going on video.
Yeah.
So think about all that opportunity that's there for you, for people not taking that leap to going on video.
True.
And there's so many different platforms. And Facebook changed Facebook Watch came out, which showed that Facebook is leaning heavily into video, and they value video that's more than 3 minutes long. They value that more than a shorter clip.
Dang.
Yeah. And you'll see it when you upload video on Facebook. It will tell you that it wants it to be more than 3 minutes long, which it feels long, but they want people to stay on Facebook, and that's why they value that content.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you've got Instagram video, Instagram TV. You've got LinkedIn, and I find that videos perform better on LinkedIn than other things. Videos with subtitles.
Subtitles.
Yeah, because most of the time people are scrolling in a place they can't hear the sound, but they want to watch the video. So if you do create video, then you're putting subtitles on, and there's free apps you can use to do that. Video is just, and it doesn't have to be elaborately set up with a DSLR camera in a studio. I record videos from my car. I don't know about...
Seen them, rate them.
Yeah, thanks. Everyone else, but when you're driving, you get some ideas and inspiration, and I find that when I leave a meeting, always I have some idea to do a video about, and I don't know why, but I'll park. I won't video and drive. I don't recommend that to anyone. I've seen people do that. I think it's ridiculous.
Crazy.
I'll pull over and I'll do a really quick video just to discuss my thoughts, and I think it's an awesome way. It costs me nothing to do that, and it costs me 3 minutes of my time. So that is an awesome way to get some of you out there all the time. And like you said, 2 cents 90 times a day. That's definitely part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, yeah, that's like a lot of business owners I come across, they're quite time poor. So that's why I feel like I know you said don't drive in video, but when you said that, I was thinking, wow, what if I just had like a camcorder that every time I drove, it just ran, and every time I wanted to ramble, I just go, because the thing when you edit a video, you can see when there's a change in audio, so you could just go, whoa, oh, there it is. And then you just break that clip, share it. But okay, we don't want people to crash.
How about Facebook Lives as well, and LinkedIn Lives is up and coming too, live video.
I did notice that, in LinkedIn, when there's a live video, it gives a notification to the top. Do you know how to stream that? Is there an open source? Well, this is the techie side of things, but is there a way to stream all of them? Because I was hoping that maybe I did a test with Zoom. Apparently, you can set up your Canon M50 if you've got one, or just the camera in general. You plug in the computer, you rig up a nice microphone, and then you're looking real crisp on your Zoom, and everyone's not looking as crisp. So I was actually thinking, is that possible to run that at an event where it's streaming to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and how do they go about doing that? Have you ever done a stream? No. Yeah.
That's that would be a great thing to find out, though.
Yeah. Stay tuned. We'll give it a crack. Even Twitch. I think the best thing, even though it's annoying to go on all these different platforms and have these different scheduling things, and there's not necessarily one that combines it all that I can see, because post scheduling on LinkedIn videos, they don't really do that, which is, come on LinkedIn, if you're listening to this.
There is a way around it, though, which it's if you want a video to go onto LinkedIn and you don't have the time to upload it, you can schedule videos to LinkedIn company pages. So, and then share it to your personal page once it gets uploaded automatically. Oh. So that's a way around it. No, you cannot schedule videos to your LinkedIn personal page, but that is a way around scheduling video. So
in company, is there any sort of lack of exposure that comes from sharing from something else?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I found with articles it sucks. Like if you do an article on LinkedIn and then you try and use hashtags, the exposure is pretty low. At least that's what I found. So, okay, that's a good way to work around. And that's what I find with... So what I was saying is that it's frustrating to try and post on all these different platforms and be consistent with it. Yeah. But the good thing is you don't create a dependency on a platform and you have less nerves. So it's kind of like inviting everyone to your 21st and no one turns up. You don't want to have that when you're posting on an individual one. But when you're doing it at scale and then one of them does well, it's less of a mental barrier.
Absolutely, yeah.
And on TikTok, even though hardly anyone of my competitors are on it, if you do actually post 4 times a day at different time slots. So I've managed to sustain that.
Awesome.
4 posts a day. But yeah, the only way I can really do that is by documenting instances, because you don't want to waste time. You know, you don't want, like, this is valuable and I'm taking a lot from it, but I want to make sure that I'm documenting it as well, so then I don't have to sit down and get nervous and muck up 10 different times while I try and do a 2-minute video. Yeah. Yeah. So the car ramblings I like, but I guess we can't do that without crashing. So park. Fair. Yeah. So what's the dream? What's the long-term goal? What are you hoping to get out of this? Because social media will change tomorrow.
Yes.
Like Instagram has Reels now, trying to knock off TikTok.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Make it a minute, Instagram. So then I can just upload TikTok videos to it. It has 15-second limit, which I don't understand. But what's your long-term vision? What are you hoping, either in life or in your business? What's your dream?
Well, my biggest driving factor, and we mentioned this at the beginning, when I said you have to know why you're doing what you're doing, is I just want to help business owners to succeed. And I have a real passion for helping SMEs in New Zealand specifically, but I mean, it's 2020, it could be all around the world. You know?
True.
But I think that New Zealand is a nation built on SMEs, and I think that we need to support each other as much as we can. And one of the ways that I'm doing that right now is through social media, and I do feel like this is going to change and develop as I grow and as I learn more. But ultimately, just to provide a service that SMEs can trust and to come to when they need help with their social media. And I am moving into providing done-for-you services as well. So doing the coaching, and then once someone finishes the coaching, if they don't have the time to post, then also helping them with that real post, authentic posts that are not going to waste their time or waste their money. And I think building a strategy for that is really important. But so in the next year or two, it's about building up a really well-trusted brand within the world of social media.
Okay.
And being able to help as many SMEs as I can. And beyond that, it's going to still be in that realm of helping small businesses, but I'm really sure that it's going to develop into something else.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it would have to.
Yeah.
It changes so quick. And another subgroup that needs help, whether you want to help them or not, is politicians in the local body. They're basically, what their strategy is bit of social media, but they just put things in letterboxes and door knock. And I'm thinking, why can't you just target a suburb? Is that possible?
Yes.
Yeah. So you target a suburb at scale and you keep adding value. And instead of the time it takes to put in these flyers and just target them at scale, I mean, you could end up quite well off.
Yeah, it would be quite environmentally friendly too.
It would be.
Opposed to delivering all those things. But I mean, that's also an iffy part. I don't know what the law is around politics on Facebook.
It changed, eh?
Yeah, because I mean, obviously there's like so much scandal around Cambridge Analytica and other politicians around the world using that to win elections through Facebook and stuff. So I don't actually know what the law is around that. But I agree that it would be but you're making me think that because I haven't seen any of it, maybe there's some restriction.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Feelings on censorship.
No, okay, I have seen the adverts from Labour.
Oh, there you go.
I'm not sure. Well, we'll look into it anyway.
I've seen Jacinda's TikTok. She's doing well. PR guru.
Yeah.
His old auntie Jacinda.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I think that was quite a useful podcast. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
I did. That was my first podcast.
It was.
Very exciting. Thank you.
I think she did well. And for those interested in what she does, Chelsey does, I'll make sure there's a link in the description, and I'm sure people watching the video will see the authenticity, especially at certain moments. But yeah, I hope you got value out of it. And if you have any questions, email me at ryan@oneplan.co.nz. And once again, nzaudioeditors.com if you don't want to sit around trying to edit audio, because I do not want to do that. So thanks, Jordan. And till next time, cheers, guys.